back to our winning ways as the Arizona State Sun Devils beat up on the Texas State Bobcats in Tempe over the weekend. Some highlight play reels, Big John. Some highlight reel plays, I should say, in that one as the Devils come away with a nice win to move to 2-1 on the year. Nice to get back, get a win after that heartbreaker against Mississippi State. So yeah, we are here. We are running with the Devils, talking everything Arizona State football. I'm the Rhino, Ryan Knowles. Here with me as always, my partner in crime, Big John Caldwell.
Yo.
And yeah, Big John, it was really good to go out there and get that win against Texas State. I know a lot of people were expecting a bit of a closer game because Texas State, had given us trouble in San Marcos last year. But ASU definitely came out, established, it was kind of a slow start. The game was 3-3 after the first quarter, but definitely turned it on in the second half. They score, they get a turnover, they score again, and just kind of took off from there. And hey, if it hadn't been for a couple of untimely penalties, it might have even been worse.
Yeah, it could have been. It could easily have been another score after the Hamilton run back. So folks, you got to see.
To open the second half. That's right.
You got to see, more and more of the capability and the speed on this team. It's
there. It is there. Absolutely.
And it is time to open up the playbook. And if I was looking at the participation report today. Ia even got he didn't get targeted, but Ia was one of our
third. There were a few guys who got in the game, and it was good to see them. Some other guys contribute a little bit. Yeah, they did kind of have to put the game away a little bit, but towards the end there in the fourth quarter. But once they did, and kind of got up, I think it was 34-9, and then against the twos, Texas State drove down and was able to get another touchdown. But it definitely worked out. And ASU actually did cover. I think the spread was 17.5.
Yep.
And so it was good to see, because a lot of people were picking. They were kind of the darlings of the bettors for to cover.
Yeah.
So that was really great to see.
Some of the Vegas places had it at 18.5, but we still covered it at 19.
But
just a quick word, and I put in this little shot of Tyson. Is he? So I asked some old timers at last night at the radio show. Tell me the most athletic wide receiver next to this guy as far back as you can go, and everybody said John Jefferson. They're comparing him to John Jefferson. Now,
good comparison.
Yeah. I mean, every single touchdown, his catch, and they both compare the catch radius, the athleticism, the fact that this kid, he's got
the fact that you can just throw a ball up in his general direction and he can go up and get it that's a huge skill, and it's something that not every wide receiver can possess, and for us to have that, especially he made another catch like that on Saturday too,
right.
Going up against double coverage, and he comes down with the ball, and then that touchdown where he had that he hurdled the guy, then goes diving into the end zone.
Well, he had to put 2 left feet inside the bound. So he has enough kinesthetic awareness of where his body is.
They had to review it just to make sure that he did stay in.
And he says, I haven't hurdled anybody in playing college ball yet, but it's really cool to see him do something like that. I'm thrilled for him, and I think he really has established himself as the elite wide receiver in the country right now. And so the question becomes,
a lot of people are agreeing with that, and I still think, he's got some stiff competition from Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, especially that touchdown that Ryan Williams had where he cut back after catching the ball against the sideline over the weekend. That was a big play. But Jordan just continues to make highlight reel catches every single week, and they certainly, he's definitely Sam Levitt's favorite target. They're roommates. He has a good rapport with Jordan, so he's certainly looking for him out there. And even when he's covered, you can throw him open. He has the speed to go and get a ball that is not thrown directly at him.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's fun to watch. It's fun
it's
to
really
watch
fun.
him.
It's
Definitely.
it's so entertaining. Just to see the athleticism, down after
Yeah.
like catch after catch, game after game. It's like it's not he hasn't had a bad performance yet. So
Yeah, he's usually good for one I would call, just lapse play where
a fumble.
he has a drop or a fumble. Yeah, I mean that's what he did. That's what he did last year. A lot of times later in the year, I felt like he got a lot better and was a little bit more consistent before his injury. Um, but yeah, but that just means that he'll go back, refocus, and then make some great plays after that
Yeah,
and
yeah.
make up for it. So yeah, it's fun to watch. Yeah, he's definitely a premier player. He's definitely worth the price of admission.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, we talked about, we'll talk about a little bit more about the Texas State game here in a minute. And we'll get into the injuries and the illness kind of going through this team right now. It's kind of affecting some guys. Some guys aren't going to play this weekend
That's
against
right.
Baylor because of some untimely injuries. We didn't last week. We didn't even mention it, Xavier Alford not being available, and yeah, we
That's
turn
true.
up and yeah, he's in street clothes.
That's right.
So yeah, it is going to be it's going to be kind of a trying time right now with some guys down. But hey, next man up. So we're definitely counting on some of these young guys just to step up and be players here. And
Some late
uh,
news.
some news that came down today. It is reported, and not yet official, but that ASU and Kansas will play the first ever college football game in Wembley Stadium in London, September 19th, 2026. Again, some things still need to be worked out with the schedule and with some other opponents, but right now it's looking like things are trending towards ASU and Kansas next season playing in London on September 19th.
It's a great stadium. I was there
Yeah,
to see the Rams play. 2000. It was the year after the Olympics, so it had been 27,
2013.
2013. Yeah, excuse me. And it was wonderful. It was such a great atmosphere, and everybody over there really, it was great. You had the hooligans, at the pubs, and yeah, and I had a great time with those guys. But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to that trip. But yeah, there's some things to be worked out. In other words, everybody's had their schedules affected by the fact that the SEC and the ACC are going to 9 conference games
Nine
now. So
games,
this
right?
exactly. So everybody's jockeying now, and the fact that we won't have to pay a team to come in here week 3, and we can actually get a paycheck out of it, I think it's kind of cool. It's a
Yeah,
great, and it may just be, this is going to be great for recruiting to be able to get kids in here who want to make a trip, go to London.
yeah. Hey,
Uh,
say yeah. You show you can do international travel.
that's right.
And when you play your football, I mean, yeah, it's nice. It's definitely something that I think that's
Sure.
going to be the point of doing this. I mean, it's why teams play in overseas week 0,
Hmm.
and but yeah, that's kind of the crown jewel of of soccer stadiums in Europe.
Oh yeah.
That's it's where the Champions League finals played. I think every year.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest events in history have taken place there. I mean, that great
The new.
Queen concert for Live Aid
Well, that
took
was the
place
old
there.
Wembley. This is the
Oh,
new
excuse
Wembley.
me.
This is the
Yes,
new
New
Wembley,
Wembley.
and
Okay,
this is bigger, just more amenities, more everything. But what's
sure.
great is the area all around it is great for a nightlife and restaurants and
Mhm.
hotels. It's just really
Nice.
and it's so easy to get around London in the tube. So yeah, I encourage everybody to start saving your bucks to make that trip.
No,
Anyway,
I'm certainly gonna try. You sound like you're already locked in.
I
So
we're going to try. I mean, I got a lot going
yeah,
on there in my company, but yeah, I mean, at first, my first reaction, and I asked Rossini about this a couple of weeks ago. Given what we saw with Iowa State and was it Kansas State, the first game
Kansas
of the,
State, yes,
yeah,
and week 0 in Ireland, right?
and how the next week that everybody's performance sort of kind of drags a little bit. It's
Mhm.
tough. It's tough on the body that many time zones. I mean, Germany is even further away, so it was even a tougher.
Well, they played in Ireland,
And no, I'm saying
but
that when you go to, yeah, Ireland's pretty much the same time zone, but when you got to go to
oh,
Germany, it's even further. Um, but It's probably good. I know what this is. This is the conference. The guy who's in charge of the conference really wants to help spread the brand and get us on par with, the other Power Four, the other Power Three conferences, as to be respected like they are. But yeah, it's college football. For goodness sakes, this is just makes it a bigger spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the NFL's been doing it for years, so naturally,
Yeah.
naturally college football is going to follow suit. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of interested to see how it all goes. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for ASU to get some good publicity and get some eyeballs on the university. So, yeah, hey, why not? If everything works out, go for it. So yeah, ASU of course beating up on Texas State over the weekend. They improved to 2-1 on this season. It was really good to see their offense. We kind of called this a get right game, and
Mm-hmm.
I think based on what we saw offensively, they they took that to heart and they got right. I think for the most part, um, 245 rushing yards is certainly a big positive. Would have
Yeah.
liked to see the passing game show up a little bit better than it did, but not gonna fault them too much for a win like this, especially when they're running the ball as well as they are
Right. Right.
right now. That I mean, we talked about it. Well, right about now is when you need an identity for your team, and I
Yes.
think for the offense, that's a run first approach to your
Right.
offense. It's
Six
certainly
points.
what's working right now. I think that Mississippi State game proved that this is a running team. They are a better running team than they are a passing team. We were hoping that the passing game would be stronger. They wouldn't be so reliant on their running game as they were last year. But a lot of people kind of discounted the running game because Cam Scatterbo was gone to the NFL now.
Yeah.
But these running backs have definitely stepped up. Even with no Kyson Brown this past week, running game was still very strong. Raleek Brown showed out. Kanye Udo had a couple nice plays. Sam Levitt, even though he's not necessarily getting it done with his arm, he had a nice game rushing with his legs. So, not.
And,
I think that is this team's going to be this team's identity going forward. And teams are going to know that too. They're going to try and stack the box, and ASU's going to find different ways to win.
well, teams are going to. I think they're kind of onto us that our pass protection is not the best right now. So they're all going to try to get to Sam in some way or another. But but Sam still has his first inclination when it breaks down,
Yeah,
is to run. And folks, when you see him running, it
yeah,
really
but
is
it seems
it's
to
a
be
broken
breaking down. It seems to be breaking down pretty quick. Is the thing.
it breaks down quickly. That's why his feet don't get set in order to have higher completions. But when he's running, it's a broken play. Okay, that stuff he was
Yeah,
doing, those are broken plays.
he
Uh,
has to, and he's had to um, kind of work on the fly,
hmm
um, improvise. He's improvising a lot, and I mean that's what that touchdown to Tyson was. He just
Oh,
kind of that's just kind of what he does, and that's
run,
his game. So
running to his left and cranking that ball down across his body like that. That's a tough
yeah,
throw.
yeah, right.
And it was a jump pass too. My
I
goodness.
know. Yeah,
He's athletic, and he's keeping himself. He's doing what he can to make his team win, and I appreciate that. He is trying to score on as many plays as he can. I think he is getting better at throwing the
yeah.
ball away a little bit.
And he did have a nice game in this one. I mean, yeah, I would have liked to see him go over 200 yards, but 15
Yeah,
to 25, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns,
it's
no
better. It's
turnovers, which is really nice.
60%. That's his highest percentage of the year. 60%.
Yeah, and then 12 carries, 59 yards, and a sneak touchdown as well. So definitely I would call it a solid game for him. Granted, against a lesser opponent, but I mean, you still got to go out there and perform, and he certainly did. And then we talked about Jordan Tyson's game. He had another 100-yard game. I mean, it seems like he's putting up. Just about every game he's at least going for 60 yards. He's
Sure.
racking up consecutive games of 60 or more yards consistently. So that's really great to see for him. And then we were bemoaning ASU's offense for not getting the tight end more involved, and they certainly made an effort to do that to feed Shimon Mateer. They ran a nice
hmm
screen for him, that he scored on, worked him a little bit more into the offense. They ran a couple plays for Kamari Anderson too. He had one drop, but the fact that they were trying to work the tight end in a little bit more.
I think Hartpole was in there too.
And move Hartpole. Yeah, I mean, Levitt doesn't overthrow him. He's got a nice catch for a first down there in the first quarter. So
Hartpole's more, but just from observation and practice, he's more of a body catcher by nature, but he's still a heck of a blocker, and he'll continue. He'll still be out there. But I think you're right. Getting the tight ends involved is a great way when your quarterback's under duress and cannot set up for the long ball. He's going to make quick dumps to the wide receiver, to Tyson. He's always going to find Tyson, but quick dumps to the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield is the most highest percentage reliable thing that can get him in rhythm. It's smart. It was a smart game plan. We kind of think we kind of were bemoaning it, but we knew it was coming at some point, and I think this.
They were going to need to get the tight end involved at some point. We knew that, and I'm glad they did it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Kind of hopefully get them into a rhythm a little bit, and because when they were going to Mateer in the red zone last year, it was paying off. He was catching. He caught a lot of touchdowns last year, and it was working.
Right, it's the biggest mismatch in football. It really is.
Right.
Little DBs against a big 6'6" kid who blocks his way down the field. He's he's catching the ball and he's coming at you full speed. Got to make some business decisions there. That's right. Yeah. Well, all I'm going to say is based on his blocking and the fact that he's going to get showcased more.
Oh, he's very, very well-rounded tight end. Yeah, that's why he's one of my favorite players on the team. Because
right now, I kind of have
he's so well-rounded.
I have him between 4th and 6th round in my mind, but the ceiling's still high as far as where he could wind up.
Yeah, he could certainly help his draft stock between now and then, or even in the off season too.
Right.
So I mean, it's that. I think that's a good spot for him right now, but I wouldn't put it past him for him to move up the rankings. And then we mentioned the injuries that they had in this game. It was Xavier Alford being out was a bit of a surprise.
Yes.
But Boogie Wilson, the Washington State transfer, came in, made some big hits.
He did.
Finished with 7 tackles. He kind of rung his own bell on one of them, but he wasn't out for very long. He did eventually come back in.
Really proud of him, the way he stepped up.
Really I mean, he was flashing in fall practice. I mean, they were excited about what they had in him, and for him to get a start with Alford going out, I think is huge and good experience for him. And he stepped up. He played really well. He wasn't a liability out there. Didn't give up any big plays. There weren't any busted coverages with him out there.
Right.
I definitely liked what I saw out of him.
He knows the playbook. I'm really impressed. For a redshirt sophomore to be playing at that level is pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. So good to see that. And then Keith Abney, another nice game. They were going at him a little bit more than other teams had. A lot of teams were picking on Javen Robinson, but Keith Abney definitely stepped up and had a really nice game himself. A couple pass defense and that forced fumble that Miles Rouser took back. A nice return, which
about 15 yards. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it was. And then we talked about the injuries. Jalen Moss, he's got an illness. Right, first it was like a hamstring problem. Now he's got an illness that he's dealing with. He's not going to play against Baylor. Kyson Brown, missed his this game, but he's back practicing. It looks like he will play on Saturday. And then punter Canyon Floyd was also out with a leg issue. So with Matt McKenzie, I know he shanked one punt.
He still averaged 35 and a half yards.
Yeah. His other ones were a lot better. So, the injuries are piling up a little bit. That is a little bit of a concern, but hopefully it won't affect them too much going forward. And then you look at the injury report. They just started doing this in college football this year, the weekly injury report, and it looks like
you got 3 buckets.
Most of the guys who were out, we kind of knew about. Some of them are out for the season. Some are still dealing with past injuries. It's Alford and Moss being out. It was a little bit of a blow, but they ultimately we're able. But other guys are stepping up right now. And then Fiaseu and Warren being on the injury report's a little bit of a concern, but we'll see what happens with them.
These are more game time decisions, folks. They're when they say questionable, it means you're probably more likely going to play.
Usually it translates to questionable is like 50-50.
Right, and probable means it's more like 70.
Probable 75%, 75 to 80% you're going to play.
Exactly.
So don't read too much into this. Most of these are probably nagging injuries that just need a little bit more time on the treatment table.
The fact is that Rouser, Anderson, Martell, they were all practicing this week along with Kyson. Kyson's just coming off a bad ankle.
Right.
And he wasn't doing 11 on 11s, but he was out there participating in everything else, 7 on 7, all the skill drills, all of the installation stuff.
And Zach Swanson still hasn't played this year.
Yeah, he's got that.
He's still kind of dealing with a nagging injury, but I'm sure we will see him at some point.
He's been running around out there. His running is getting better and better. For a long time, beginning of camp, it was really labored. But near the end of camp, he was running without much of a giddy up. So that a limp.
So that takes us into our.
And just be aware, folks, that you're going to see this. We'll keep this updated for you throughout the year because this is all part of the next man up. We have a very deep roster with athletic guys.
That's the thing too. Is our depth is so much better in these past couple of years than it has been, in a long time. So that has definitely contributed to the team, having success and still being competitive, even with the injuries that they've had. So that takes us into our players of the week, presented by the Valley Athletic Booster Club. Support local athletics. Check out valleyathleticboosterclub.com. And for me, I don't think there's any debate about who the players of the week are. This week, Raleigh Brown had another fantastic game. 12 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown, including that 75-yard just home run play that he made.
It was great blocking, great executed.
Yes. And there was just a huge lane for him to run through, and he just takes it up the sideline for the touchdown. Great to see him having the season that he's had and contributing the way he has after being hurt for basically the better part of 2 years. He come back and played really, really well. Had the first touchdown of the season against NAU, and really has not slowed down ever since. He just continues to go out there and make plays, and he's got the athleticism and speed to do it. So they're going to definitely find ways to get him the ball, even when Kyson Brown comes back.
And isn't it remarkable?
He was the feature back in this game,
right.
But he'll still continue to get his opportunities for sure.
But he's at full speed by the third step. I mean, it's
his we talked about his acceleration on this show. It's you don't see that too often this side of the NFL.
With what he does. It was like that in modern day. I mean, if you saw any of the modern day games a few years ago, about 3 years ago, it was just at instant speed. But anyway, I'm glad to see he's becoming a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely turning some heads and definitely earning some Sun Devil love with his play. And then Jordan Crook, the linebacker, earned Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week for his performance. 12 tackles, a sack, and 3.5 tackles for loss against the Bobcats. He was everywhere on that field, especially with Zyrus Fiaseu not being at 100%. But him and Keyshawn both had nice games. I felt like Keyshawn had a sack himself. He made a couple big tackles out there.
Yep.
But Jordan Crook was certainly the man on that defense on Saturday with his play. Definitely well-earned honor for him.
The word that comes to mind when I watch him play is he's just instinctual. He doesn't. He's just eyes.
That's kind of what we talked about with all the linebackers this year. They're not just reading and reacting. They're like diagnosing before the play even starts, and then just knowing where to go away. They're taking. They're definitely at playing at a very high level. I mean, they call themselves the Wolf Pack, and they're going out
Right.
there and hunting ball carriers very, very well this year. Their level of play has been very impressive. So looking
Well,
forward to more of that as we get into the Big 12 schedule and we face some of
and
these tougher offenses coming
the,
up here.
the cool thing is we're at 11 sacks now, folks. We were at
Mm.
22 last year, so we are a little ahead of schedule right now. And
Yeah,
which
we had five in this game too. So that
we
was really good
predict
to see.
that was one of our big predictions at our very first week of the show was to say that they were going to. It was better than last year was better than the year before, but this year should be with the way they're designing this the pressure from the ends to and I told you the most solid group in this whole defense is the linebacking core. It really is. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
by design, but that's what's just going on. They're just so damn instinctual.
Played very well in this game too. Clayton Smith had a sack. Albert Smith the third, the redshirt
Yep,
freshman,
that's
had
right. Good
his
for him.
first sack. So yeah, that
Yep.
was really nice to see. It wasn't just one guy. It's multiple guys making contributions. So those are our players of the week,
Well,
presented by Valley Athletic Booster Club. Oh, sorry, John. Yeah, you
well,
you got yours.
I'm
Ooh,
a rub.
excuse me.
I can't deny what you selected here. So I said ditto. But then I don't want to leave out a couple of great performances. Jesus had 2 field goals and 4 extra points. That's 10 points, folks. So he was, he's your second leading scorer. Miles Rouser, I thought you pointed out Alford, but I thought Miles had a great game too. 4 solos, 6 assists, 10 total tackles, pass deflection, and a fumble recovery for 15 yards. Another really solid. Just he has
Yeah,
really
from that on that
grown.
Abney fumble. Yeah,
Yeah,
a fumble.
he's really grown up, and he's still as vocal as ever, still as intense as ever. He's taken that whole Shamari
Well,
Simmons kind
as
of
long as he's not
mentality
doing it,
on.
as long as he's not standing over guys doing
No,
it like he did last
I think
year. I mean,
that's been worked
earning
out over time.
flags. I don't have a problem with
No,
it.
me either. But I just love his contribution and the fact that his assists are still really high. I place a high value in guys who help make that second hit. So anyway, yeah, it's hard to deny Ray Leak and Crook. They were so standout, and when you're called out as your defensive player of the week, that's a pretty special honor. But I
Yeah,
look for him to repeat that sometime this year too. He's
entirely
just
possible. Or we could see Keyshawn get it too at some
yeah.
point.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We'll get him right.
So
So
that takes us into that does it for the non-conference schedule. ASU opens up their conference slate this weekend in Waco against the Baylor Bears. We're going to preview that game here in a minute, but we talked about this gauntlet coming up here, these 4 games in 5 weeks that we're really going to set the tone for the rest of the season. That it's starting. This is the week it starts. This is where you really need to start playing your best ball right now to have another shot at another Big 12 championship, because you're going to be facing some teams that are going to be there at the end. And certainly Baylor, I think, is more than capable of doing that. They started out slow, but ever since about midway through last year, once Sawyer Robertson was named the full-time starter, they've just been, their offense has just been clicking on all cylinders, it seems
mhm.
like. And they're going to be a tough team. We'll talk about them in a minute. But yeah, you got Baylor on the road this week. Then you got a short week facing TCU at home next Friday. In 8 days from now, and then you have a bye, and then got to go to I believe it's to oh gosh,
I'm
to
sorry. Up
Utah.
to Utah,
Excuse me,
the
Utah
11th.
on the 11th. Yeah,
We have a bye
yeah.
between TCU
After
and Utah.
TCU, I knew about the bye. I always, but yeah, Utah, they're ranked right now. They're a very tough team, especially in the trenches. Arguably one of the better offensive lines in college football, and they have their quarterback situation figured out with former local kid Devin Dampier.
Yeah.
So they're
So
certainly not going to be a pushover by any stretch.
and if you're able to catch this game or tape it, watch the Utah Texas Tech game this weekend.
That's this weekend. Yeah, that's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. You'll be able to see 2 of our best folks coming up.
No doubt.
So I know that's and by the way, Utah's now favored by 3, I believe. Well, I believe it's at home. So, um,
Yeah.
but they're getting
There, I
paid.
mean, yeah, that Salt Lake City is always a tough place to play. ASU has
It's
not had a lot of
it's
success there
it's a
the
tough
last
out.
few years.
Tough out. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
and then you finish up this gauntlet with Texas Tech back at home on the
Ye-
18th. So
Yep. That's a monster. Don't want to miss
yeah,
that one.
that's a game that has had a lot of eyeballs on it since
Mm.
preseason. Basically,
Yep.
I mean we're certainly not look. I know the team's not looking ahead. Kenny
Oh,
Dillingham spoke as much during his press conference this week. He talked about just looking ahead, just focusing on Baylor, focusing on that week's opponent, and not trying to look ahead here. But hey, that's what he's got us for.
no, but
We're
there's
That's why
nothing
we're
wrong.
here.
There's nothing wrong with having it circled as a player
Oh yeah.
because that's the team that beat you last year, and
Hmm.
there's a redemption is still the greatest motivator in all of sports.
Definitely.
I'll say it. So
Yeah,
that's
and that Texas Tech team. I mean, they're the highest ranked team in the Big 12 right now. I mean, they certainly look the part. They haven't played really anybody. Their
that's
non-conference schedule was pretty weak.
right.
So was Utah's, as it turns out, because
Right.
UCLA is
Uh,
terrible
let,
right now.
let their
But
coach is gone already.
yeah, oh
God.
yeah, that's right. He was fired on Sunday. But you still got to go out there and perform against these teams, and I mean, they're blowing people out of the water, and they're going to be tough out. So if you have your eyes set on being in Dallas in December for the Big 12 title game, you got to go out and play your A game in these next over the course of this next month,
That's
because
that's
these
right.
are some tough teams, and probably the only other ranked team they're going to see the rest of the way is going to be Iowa State
Correct.
after this gauntlet's finished. So
Well, we have another.
they
You have another Texas
definitely got
team.
to go out there and perform against these teams.
And you know what? We got Houston on the schedule here at home this year. Houston looks better. Houston's putting up some
Oh, well,
points.
they're certainly better than last year. I mean,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not saying much. They were,
yeah.
they were not very good last
No,
year
no,
for the most part.
they're improved. They're kind of like U of A. They're
Yeah,
playing better ball.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah, but I mean, who have they played?
yeah,
Let's be
sure.
honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, another game I'm looking forward to this weekend is Iowa State against U of A, because
Right,
I
right.
want to see I want to see Iowa State just run
Molly.
wild on them,
Yeah, yeah.
run them over,
I'm with you.
because
I'm with you.
a lot of teams are a lot of people are hyping up U of A right now. They beat a bad Kansas State team. Kansas State
They
is
did.
not the same team they were last year. They've had
No.
guys transfer out of their program after the season started. There's a lot of turmoil on that team right now. There's a lot of questions whether Avery Johnson is actually the guy.
Right.
So Kansas State's kind of going through a bit of a they're kind of going through some chaotic times. So the fact that U of A went out there and beat them in a non-conference game at home
Hmm.
doesn't impress me all that much. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's take that with a grain of salt and watch. We'll see what Iowa State does to them this weekend, because I'm looking forward to that. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So
moving on to this week's opponents, the Baylor Bears. Oh, that's some nightmare fuel right there, Big
I
John.
know. I was gonna say, I'm a kid. I'm hiding under my bed. You see that? God, Bruiser and Merritt.
Oh
Okay.
man,
All right.
craziness. I
Yeah.
don't know what's the deal with all the male and female. I know
Yeah.
you got to have something for the girls, but geez. In any case, yeah, Baylor though 2-1 this year. They lost to Auburn at home uh, in their season opener by a couple touchdowns. But then they bounced back and defeated SMU the next week
Tough.
on the road in Dallas.
Right.
So that was a double overtime thriller. That was a really good game. I watched most of that game. Um, they definitely deserved to win. They played their tails off coming back from that tough loss to open the season. And Dave Aranda, he's got this program headed in the right direction. We weren't really
Right.
sure after Art Briles was forced out what this team would look like, but he's got them, playing at a high level after some initial struggles. Last year they were not very good out of the gate. Started 2-5, but once, like I mentioned, once Sawyer Robertson got installed as the permanent starter as a redshirt freshman, this offense kind of found its stride, and they won. They were about the hottest team, maybe other than ASU, in the conference to end the regular season, and ended up winning 8 games before losing to LSU in the Texas Bowl last year. So this Baylor team, I mean, they remind me kind of a little bit of Art Briles with RG3, not quite as explosive and exciting,
Right.
but still, they have a lot of weapons. They find ways to get guys the ball in space and let them make plays. They run the ball very, very well as well. So this is exciting team, and it starts with their offense. Their offense with our offensive coordinator, former Texas State head coach and Cal interim head coach Jake Spavital,
Right.
who's in his second season in Waco. Took them a little bit to get his offense rolling with Sawyer Robertson, but now he's kind of become one of the premier quarterbacks in this conference. And he started out the season very strong, 62% completion, 1,070 yards, 10 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions. And he is a true pocket passer. He's not much of a dual threat. He won't get out and run a ton. He prefers to stay in the pocket and look for his receivers. But you got to get some pressure on him because he does not make many mistakes with the ball if he has a clean pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 interceptions there's nothing to hide there. He is very good with the ball, and he's got some great weapons. And they can run the ball very well with Bryson Washington. And he's kind of one of the top running backs in this conference as well.
Right.
And he's leading the Big 12 in rushing with 304 yards on 66 carries. It's about a 5-yard average with 4 touchdowns on the season. Not much of a receiver. He's only got 4 catches on the year, but they don't really ask their backs to catch the ball too much. They got enough receivers to do that for them.
Right. And Sawyer himself is not a great runner either, particularly.
No, yeah. I mean, I think he's run most of what he's run for have been just 13 carries for a net of 12 yards.
Right. So he's not a burner.
Unless you're just not paying attention and he steps up and finds a seam,
right,
and everybody's covered, he can take off. He does have a long run of 16 yards this year, but again, not certainly. I think probably the least mobile quarterback ASU's seen all year.
Right. It's this first stat's really what jumps out.
Oh yeah,
that total yards.
Yeah, I mean they this year alone, I mean they've done some nice things. I mean they only put 24 up against Auburn, but hey, that is an SEC defense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they put 48 up on SMU and 42 up on Samford.
That's
so
right.
They can certainly, if your defense isn't on point, they will take advantage and they can move the ball down the field. I mean they're averaging over 500 yards per game for a reason, and a big reason why has been their receivers. They've got a great core of receivers. If we can go to the next slide.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just I was looking at the time.
And
looking at the clock.
Yeah, Josh Cameron has kind of been one of the big targets. Has been the big target this year. 15 catches, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ashton Hawkins has kind of been the safety blanket, but he can stretch the field as well. Doesn't have a touchdown on the year, but 17 catches, 257 yards. But Kobe Prentice, the Alabama transfer, has kind of been the big red zone target. He's got 10 catches on the year. 4 of them have gone for touchdowns. And then they'll also work in the former Texas State wide receiver Cole Wilson, who was a good player for the Bobcats last year. He's transferred to Baylor, and they'll work him quite a bit. So they got this great core of receivers and a great tight end. Michael Trigg has been very good this year. He's battling an injury right now, but he is probable for this game. So he's got 13 catches himself, and they have a good veteran offensive line anchored by guard Omar Ibadian. Probably butchering that a little bit, but he was second team all Big 12 guard last year and on the Outland Trophy watch list to begin this season. And then center Colton Price is a Remington Award. Was on the Remington Award watch list to begin this year. So definitely, and they got a couple tackles that are both veterans as well. They have 4 returning starters from last year. So This is a veteran group, and They do it. They do it all. They run block. They pass block. They do. This is a very good team unit. So it's going to be tough for ASU to try and get pressure on Sawyer Robertson. They're definitely going to have to be at the top of their game against this group.
Yeah,
But
this Washington's the guy who really the athlete that scares me really.
Yeah, he kind of makes this offense go. He's big, pretty big kid, physical runner,
Right.
Can get the tough yards. They run a lot of RPO stuff. They'll run tempo, not as much as Mississippi State did, but they will do it to kind of break up the monotony and keep defenses off balance. So they'll do a lot of different things, but you definitely have to be disciplined, not have dirty eyes with them, because they'll do a lot of different things to try and catch you out of position.
Very interesting.
But as good as Baylor's offense has been, their defense has been a kind of weak this year. I know that they're kind of they're working with a lot of transfers, working in some new players, and they're giving up about 30 points a game, and it's been their rush defense that's been a real problem. They're giving up over about 188 yards per game on the ground. Just not a lot of production out of their D line. I mean, most of their production defensively has come from their back end and their linebackers. Jacob Redding and DJ Coleman are a couple of really good safeties who have contributed this year and been good players for them. Amarion Winston is their big pass rusher. It was a nice get from Oregon in the offseason. He leads the team with a couple sacks. Again, the fact that they play a 3-4, so they mainly ask their D linemen to kind of eat up blocks and let their linebackers make plays. But only a hand defensively, only I think five sacks on the season. They don't have a ton of tackles for loss. They do have 4 interceptions, excuse me, on the season. So.
Sanford, probably most of it was Sanford. Yeah.
Yeah, I think and SMU turned the ball over a couple times against them.
Right,
but
right.
Travion Barnes is a good linebacker for them, 11 tackles with a sack on the year, and then LeVar Thornton Jr. is their really good corner. He's got one of those interceptions on the season. So, again, but they really struggle against the run. They had, gave up quite a few yards against Auburn, especially. Auburn was able to move the ball quite well on the ground against them. SMU is not much of a running team, but the fact that even they were able to get over 100 yards, I think, was pretty impressive.
That was a shootout. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. And Auburn, I think their running back had 130. Their leading rusher had 137. It was their quarterback had 137 yards and 2 touchdowns on 16 carries.
Wow.
Yeah. So
big day.
Look for Sam to get out and run a little bit. And then SMU had like I said, they're not much of a running team, but their running back had 115 yards and 3 touchdowns on 19 carries. So they're giving up over 5 yards a carry there. And Sanford, they're not the best rushing team. Going up against this group, so but the fact that Auburn was able to ran for over 300 yards as a team.
That should tell you
Baylor.
something. Yeah.
So and then SMU. They passed for 458, but they ran for 163, and they're a pass first team. So they were able to get out and rush a little bit. So. That kind of takes us into our keys for this game, presented by Sleep in Heavenly Peace, a great nonprofit that builds beds for families in need. Please support Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And for me, it's run first, run fast, run often. Use that ground game that you've had a lot of success with on this season to control the clock and keep that Baylor offense off the field. If you keep the chains moving, control the time of possession, shorten this game up a little bit, and don't let Baylor's offenses, they can move the ball, but they rely on rhythm like most offenses do,
Yeah.
and they can't just start and stop all that fast. So if you're able to get a couple stops and turn some of these possessions into long sustained drives that wear that beleaguered Baylor defense down even more, you should have some success putting some points on the board and continuing to run the ball like they have all season. And then on defense, ride the red zone. I mean, Baylor's going to get their yards. They're going to move the ball. It's what they've done all year. I think you just got to minimize the big plays where you can. And once they get into the red zone, tighten up a little bit. Don't let them, don't let them get quite so much space to operate. And if you can hold them to field goals and not touchdowns, I think you're giving yourself a much better chance to win.
So let me ask you this: if you're trying to really control clock, you're trying to keep the chains moving, and given the fact that Ray Leak is such an explosive runner, don't you think that if you had your druthers, you'd really want to see Udo and our other Brown?
Yes and no. I mean,
kind
I
of doing
wouldn't.
most of and really using Ray Leak more in the red zone.
I wouldn't mind seeing them. I wouldn't mind seeing all three get some
Yeah,
use, or I wouldn't mind seeing two of them on the field at the same time.
that's kind of my
Maybe
point.
you fake something to Udo to draw the defense in the middle and hit Ralik on a swing pass, something like that. To kind of keep that defense off balance and keep open up the field. And hey, if he breaks off some big plays, I'm not gonna bemoan that. That's points. That's still points on the
Yeah,
board.
I mean, but you're going to see, and this happens every day at practice. Kyson can break off 70 yarders.
Oh
Udo
yeah,
can break off 50 yarders. They don't have the top end speed that Relic has, but they're still capable of explosive plays. So it's a high class problem to have. But
yeah.
I know they're going to want to run between the A gaps a lot in this game. That's my point. I
Yeah,
guess my
you have
point.
a. I mean, because you have a 3-4 defense with some linebackers that are tackling machines that can
Right.
go out there and make plays, certainly. But the defensive line, they're space eaters. They're bigger guys, but they can be moved. I feel like,
Right.
and
Right.
because they're not going to shoot the gaps and that's the linebacker's job. The
Mhm.
defensive line's not going to shoot the gaps and create tackles for loss. That's what's what the linebackers do in the 3-4. Um,
So
so yeah.
in theory, Sam should have a little more time maybe on pass protection.
Well, I think if you're running, so if you're able to establish the run and move the chains and have success on the ground, yeah, the play action game will certainly open up. That I don't think that's going to be much of a concern, but I think establishing the run early and starting to wear that Baylor team down with some of those body blows, even if they're not going for big gains early,
Mm-hmm.
I think is going to be very important. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the focus of this offense going, at least early on against this team, especially if the defense is able to hold up and not give up a ton of points and big plays to this Baylor offense. That that's what they're based on. That's what they do. They're all about putting points on the board. So if ASU's defense can hold up and
Right.
maybe give the offense a couple short fields. I know that's one of your keys is
Mm.
to get some turnovers. So if they can do that and create more possessions for ASU's offense for them to continue running the clock and
Mm-hmm.
shortening up the game and not letting Baylor's offense beat them, I think ASU's got a great chance to win this game.
Right. The thing you cannot get behind in this game and turn it into a track meet.
Yeah, you can't
Or
turn. Yeah,
a
don't. Yeah,
shoot. It cannot
I
be a
agree.
shootout. This is not a.
Yes, yeah, because you
We're
don't
not.
want to get into a shootout with this team because
We're
they
not.
have the ability to put 40 points on the board like it's
Well, with
nothing.
four receivers that are really three wide receivers and a tight end that are really contributing, they're built for it. We're not.
It's technically four. It actually is four
Four
receivers.
wide.
I only
That's right.
mentioned three, but yeah, they do have a fourth in Cole
Yeah.
Wilson, who's really
Yeah.
good,
That's right.
and the tight end. So
And the
yeah,
tight
they
end. So
can
they got,
spread you out very, very well,
and I
force
put
a
them
lot
all.
of one-on-ones, and
That's right.
that's what they do. That's what they thrive on.
Mm-hmm.
So
So my biggest thing is time of possession. If we win that by five, considerable amount, we win this game because it means you're going to take that venerable offense off the field. That they might get 11 touches at the ball. If you can make that 8, and if you can win that turnover battle, take 2 more away through the turn. Now they only have 6 chances to score on you. That's huge in a game like this. So I don't expect Sam to throw a whole lot. Maybe 15, maybe 18 throws in this game. I don't think he has to.
If he's doing that, it's because the running game is going very well, and they don't need him to throw the ball that much.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You saw Sims come in this game last week, and which was a really good sign. It wasn't because of Sam or of Sam not faltering or anything. It was just because it was time to rest him, and not put Sam in harm's way. So and by the way, Sims can run still. My gosh, his
well, we knew that, yeah. So just don't ask him to throw.
two very nice runs he had while he was in there.
Just don't ask him to throw.
So to me, we're run the damn ball. Sorry, just run the damn ball, and control that clock, and then win the turnover battle. It's pretty simple. You see the ball hawking going on. We're overdue for interception right now, folks. So
definitely, and they're with a team like this that likes to throw the ball,
I think
the opportunities are going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have our. So it's not a real complicated game. You have strength on strength. You have a good offense against a good defense.
And I think especially in a game like this, it's who can impose their will.
That's right.
The best or the most.
I agree. It's
just play their game and force the other team to play their type of game.
Well, a big part of that to me is we've gone from 11 penalties to 5. We're down to 5 now, and imposing your will has a lot to do with not making mistakes.
Right.
So if you can get that down to 2 or 3, penalties, I think this, it bodes very well for us. I mean, let's face it, folks. We had a kickoff, by Hamilton that ran back for a touchdown. You saw the speed, you saw the capability of that special teams, so I guess what I'm saying is we have more weapons than you probably that game last week could have been easily in the 40s.
Well, and we talked about their weapons, ASU's weapons, at the beginning of the season, and we felt like they were, especially in the receiving core, they were better from top to bottom. We haven't really seen it a ton this year. One of these games, they are going to open up the playbook a little bit more and sling it around, but against a team like this, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get into a shootout because that's Baylor's MO. That's their identity as a team. They are a strong offensive team. Defense is still kind of, feeling its way through. They have struggled so far this year, especially against a strong running team in Auburn. So go out there and just, don't let them get right against you.
No.
Go out there, continue to keep them down and work the clock, wear them down on the ground. And I feel like that puts you in a good chance to win.
Yep. And
so those are keys to the game presented by Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And that brings us to our predictions. Don't hate me too much. I got a feeling that Baylor's offense is just going to be a little bit too much for ASU to overcome at this point. I feel like Baylor's going to take a late lead and ASU is going to have to throw the ball. And they're not going to be able to have enough in them to pull it out in the end, especially on the road. Baylor, not the raucous environment that Starkville is, but they still show up for this team that's playing really well right now. So it's going to be a hostile crowd, very loud. I fully expect it to be. I remember going to the Fiesta Bowl between Baylor and Central Florida a few years ago with Blake Bortles and Bryce Petty. And that was, I sat with some Baylor fans, and they were very passionate. They were very, very loud.
Say what you will about the crowd. We're still going in as the conference champion. People are up for us. They're going to be up for us no matter what we go, how we're playing. Every game, people are going to be. We're a big target right now. I mean, everybody wants to rush the field if they beat us this year. Sorry.
Now that we're not, since we're not ranked, I don't know if they'll do that this year.
Right,
but but yeah, I just think that Baylor's got a little bit too much on offense for us to overcome right now. I have been impressed with our defense, but we haven't quite faced an offensive line like this. They got a veteran unit that is very connected and they play very well together. It's going to be tough for ASU to generate a pass rush, especially against a team like this that can, beat you a lot of different ways through the air and the ground. With Bryson Washington as well. ASU's been a very tough run defense this year. Their run defense has been excellent this year, but they again haven't faced a back quite like this. So
we're giving up 2.7 yards per carry is what we're giving up right now.
Yeah,
that's a phenomenal number. Folks.
But again, I don't think we faced a back or an offensive line quite like this yet. So this will be a good test for this defense. Hey, of course, I'm rooting for ASU. I just got a feeling that Baylor at home, with the way that this offense is kind of clicking right now, and the way our passing game is kind of struggling, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up with them. And I got Baylor winning in a tight one.
You got home teams always. You get 3 just for being at home. Maybe you can look at it almost as like 7 in the pros almost. But it's a
Sure.
But I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I just looked at, our ability to outcoach teams, and how we don't quit. We're not gonna roll over for somebody like this.
Absolutely.
And you're right. It is about enforcing your will. I do think this how we've been playing second halves, especially our run game, is we've got great pieces. We haven't put the passing part of it together, the long ball, all that. But and I'm not saying this is the game where all that gets fixed either. But I do think that there's enough bullets in the gun to get to 30. I think the key is really limiting that. Finding a way to Washington's the player that scares me. Really, it is. I mean. If you shut him down and make them very one-dimensional, keep that ball in front of you, I think we got a shot. So I'm calling it 30-27. Not as high scoring as you've got it, but this is not a high.
Well, not quite. I mean, we're only like 7 points apart combined.
Mm-hmm.
So
correct.
I mean, we do have very similar scores. I just feel like Baylor's got a little bit too much on offense for us to overcome, and they're. I mean, I think we'll be able to shut down Washington to a certain extent, but their passing game is just really tough, and I don't know if we have the pass rush necessary to, at least not yet, not at this point,
right.
To neutralize Robertson's arm or those receivers who are very tough in their own right. So that's it for our predictions. A little bit of a change of opinion. I'm certainly rooting for ASU. I feel like they're certainly capable of winning this game. I just feel like Baylor at home is just a little bit too much. But that'll do it for us here on RWP. You guys tuning in, as always, like, comment for the show. We always appreciate people tuning in. And so we say good night. Go Devils. Forks up. Bury those Bears.